Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the 8-Bit Adventures Podcast. Here to bring you the latest and greatest gaming news of the week. I am your host, Sean Hayes. This is episode 337. So apologies for the schedule change again. Friday nights just were not working for me. The only problem is I got sick last week. And then and then kind of forgot about it tonight. So I feel bad. But we're here. Not a lot of news topics this week. So I really just have two news items. But the big thing was I've got a tournament report. Tournament report for Lorcana's Fabled Set Championships. Our local set championships were today. So I have a tournament report for that. And that's kind of it. So this might be a little bit of a short episode. Kind of still trying to get back in the swing of things. I might be coming down with something again. So we're going to see how it goes. So yeah. But yeah, hope everyone's been doing well. I'm still getting sucked into Hades when I have time to play games. I haven't even started Final Fantasy Tactics yet. But there's a lot of brain power being devoted to this tournament. And so now that it's done, so much time and energy gets freed up because I don't have to worry about it anymore. So, because it's late, let's get right into our news topics for this week. So first up, both of our news items are from gamesindustry.biz, but they report that over 400 workers from Blizzard's platform and technology department voted to join the unions this week. So these divisions include designers, engineers, QA testers, localization teams, and teams that work on Battle.net. This is great. It was earlier this year. The story. I forget, like the story and narrative teams also voted to unionize. So this is great. I don't know if this was part of it, but I also saw that like the Hearthstone and Warcraft Rumble teams, that employees from those teams also voted to unionize. Which, like, a little weird to see Warcraft Rumble in there, given that there's only like a handful of employees left working on it since they gutted the game and shut it down. But yeah, love to see it. I hope this trend continues industry wide. But it's really good news for Blizzard. You know, I firmly believe that better work will be done with employee unions in place. So yeah, and congratulations to them. Microsoft at least says it is recognizing the union, so there's haven't been any pushback, at least not yet anyway. So that's great to hear, and I'm happy for them. Next bit of news, reports that hackers like breached Nintendo. Like, they claimed that they hacked Nintendo. In a statement, Nintendo confirmed that there was a breach, although it was like external website servers. So no personal or business information was leaked in the hack. Um, so I'm not really sure like what sort of information could have been uh, uh, hacked in that regard. Sounds like there may have just been some vandalism on like some of their websites, but otherwise, you don't. It sounds like nothing. No credit card numbers, no personal. Uh, so when they do say personal or business information, the business information pertains to like Nintendo's business. So um, yeah, they didn't make off like with any source code or timelines or anything like that. Um, however, I guess there's still more stuff that's been occurring because of like the Game Freak hack that happened last year, where I guess their timeline up through 2030 was leaked. Nintendo has not made any statement about that. Um, so, but oh, excuse me, it's popped up again because Pokemon Legends ZA released. So, which I don't have it as a news item. It is out. I don't have any intention of playing it. I have too much on my plate right now, and from what I hear, it's a very divisive experience. That like the game itself is good, but like it really locks you into this tiny area. Uh, so yeah, I'm having my time is getting sucked up by Hades 2. And then when I'm finally done, when I've had my fill of Hades 2, it's then on to Final Fantasy Tactics. So I don't really have any impetus to play Pokemon Legends. So if you are playing it, let me know. Let me know what you think. I would love to hear. The community's thoughts on uh, their gameplay experience for Pokemon Legends ZA. It just seems like a weird, like it feels like the time to release it would have been back in the DS days, right after X and Y. So it seems weird to go back to it now, if that makes sense. But and that's it. That's it, folks, for our news for this week. Like I said, it's I was trying to sift through news stories there, and there weren't really that a lot were jumping out at me. But I will also be better prepared next week. So, and I will get all the stuff updated for the schedule and everything. And have a better idea of a set time to do the show. It'll probably be earlier. So, all right, let's talk about today's set championships. All right, so we had our fabled set championships for Lorcana at our local game store, Mana Crypt, today. It was, we were kind of expecting like 15 people, and we ended up with 9. So our last set champ, we had 18 people, and that was like the most we've ever had. And that, going from that to 9, which is closer to what we usually end up with, is like a night and day experience. So yeah, we had 9 people, 8 of whom are regulars, and then another individual who does live nearby, but was interested in our local league, and was very nice. So we are blessed to have a very like nice, welcoming community, um, and generally speaking, the folks who show up at our tournaments these days are pretty chill, pretty cool, and they mesh well with our community. Um, so all in all, it was a fun day. I believe the decks that were present. Blurple ended up winning, ended up taking the top spot. And there were 3 varieties of Blurple deck in the tournament field. So about a third of the decks were Sapphire Amethyst, all kind of running very similar deck lists, with various personal preferences thrown in there. Next up, I play second, and I was playing Amber Steel. There were 3 Amber Steel decks. Again, with all different modifications to sort of the base package based on personal preferences. And then I think the remaining third were a smattering of like other stuff. So we had we had a Flingerdingers deck. We had a Ruby Steel. And we had an Emerald Steel like discard deck. So I believe the top 4 where it was 2 of the Blurples and then the Flingerdingers and myself. Now, if you're not familiar with Lorcana, it probably just sounded like a whole bunch of nonsense coming out of my mouth. So some of the archetypes. So Blurple is called that because it's Sapphire Amethyst, or Blue Purple. So right now it's so in Lorcana, part of Sapphire's color identity is ramp. So doing things that cause you to give up tempo now, but allow you to get more ink to play bigger stuff earlier. So it like basically you give up a little bit of tempo now to get it back later to be able to play bigger stuff. That is combined with Amethyst's like card draw and evasiveness. So it's an archetype right now that's pretty strong. It's one of the stronger decks in the Fabled meta. And so, I mean, yeah, there were 3 of them today. Amethyst Steel is an aggro, very aggressive deck in this format. I think everybody was running a deck list that uses Tiana. So Tiana, Quest for 2 lore, but also like has an ability where when she is exerted, so like if you use her for something, she kind of protects your other characters by making it so that if any of your characters get challenged, the challenging player has to pay a bunch of ink, or the character that is challenging gets a strength reduction. So your characters will take less damage in challenges, or it might just discourage them from challenging in the first place, which is great for aggro. It is a card that went from like $1.50 to $35 in like a span of 2 weeks. When Fabled was announced and the full set list was revealed. Flingerdingers is a Ruby Amethyst deck that uses a lot of characters that come into play with damage counters on them. And then Amethyst also has a lot of like moving damage counters from like your characters to opposing characters. So that has advantages where it bypasses defensive abilities like resist. And it also like provides healing for your own characters. Coupled with Ruby, Ruby does have some sort of direct removal still. So it's a very weird sort of math and procedure heavy deck. The Ruby Steel, it was my buddy Craig, who has been really pushing this deck for like the past couple of sets. He's been trying to make it work, and there really was something there because it performs very well in like our local league for open play. And I think it was just until now, the decks that were prevalent in sort of the pre-rotation meta did not make it conducive for that deck to perform very well. It was a meta that was defined with lots of direct removal or direct damage, and a lot of that did not come back, and so it really tried to enforce like a meta where you're challenging in order to get rid of characters on the board. And so this deck, all about it. It was kind of designed to eat aggro decks, and boy did it. It was wild. So yeah, so it uses characters like Mushu, Calhoun, Mulan, the variant of Mulan where when she challenges a character, your other characters can then challenge ready characters. And then sort of like your staples for Ruby and for Steel. So it runs Doc, it runs Captain Hook, but it also runs Lumiere to help with challenging. It's a really interesting deck. Unfortunately, I don't think it got matched up with a lot of aggro. Like it got matched up against me. I did horribly against it. But yeah, I think after that, it did go up against two of the aggro decks, and then it was just we had 4 rounds of Swiss, and then did like top cut to top 4. And unfortunately, I think after that, it got matched up with like Blurple, which it was not well suited for. As far as the discard deck, that player ended up getting 2 buys due to how the weird rankings worked out. But I don't believe it won any of the matches that it was in. So, yeah, weird day. But all in all, it was a good day. I think everybody had fun. And yeah, I went. God, it was so stressful this tournament period because it was a set rotation. Everything was in chaos. Nobody knew what they were going to do. Nobody knew what anyone else was going to do. And so like trying to gauge like what our local meta was going to be like was rough. And so and it was a very short season. So it was like we only have like 3 weeks maybe to actually like practice. And so we ended up setting up like a bunch of extra practice days outside of our league days, just to test out decks and try and figure out like what cards need to be cut, what needs to be teched in. So yeah. Oh, excuse me. And our So the person who was from out of town won. But again, super nice individual. Would love to see them come back for league days and for like our special events like the sealed and our drafts. Because it was a lot of fun. And so yeah, the promos for participation were Dragon Maleficent. They look great. And as much as I do, this has been the second time now that I've come in second place in the set championship. And although you get a bigger amount of store credit for second place, which I didn't mind last time. I mean, it would have been nice to have done a repeat tournament win. But like the play mat being Maleficent, it looked really cool. So it would have been nice to get it, but second place ain't too bad. So yeah. All in all, it was a great day. And I was doing the math. So I ended up having a first round bye. But of the games that I played, of like the matches that I played, I did the math on like wins and losses within those matches. And it came out to exactly I won 50% of the time. So like that is, I think, what people would like to see in like a very healthy meta. I wish I could remember how many of those I won the die roll versus lost the die roll. I do know in my top 4 match, I was not the higher seed, and so I went second both games in that match, but ended up going 2-0. I don't remember. I don't remember any of the other ones, how the die roll went, but yeah. All in all, it was a fun day, and I'm so glad that I don't have to worry about it. Is because the next set comes out in 3 weeks. So now it can just be excited about the new set, and then when those cards come out, it's going to be completely different. Because we're going to get Black Cauldron cards, we're going to get Gargoyles cards, and then just some really weird stuff that I don't know. I might get tempted to just run something weird again. But at least I'll pay attention to like what the overall meta is doing to try and anticipate what people are going to do. Because I don't know, who knows? Something weird might surface from this. So that is going to wrap things up for this week. Thank you all for joining me. I know it's a short episode, but I wanted to make sure I got something out, especially with not doing it last week. So if you want to see more content from 8-Bit Adventures, head over to 8bitadventures.com. If you want to help support that content, you can become a patron at patreon.com/8bitadventures. Big shout out and thank you to all my current patrons. Thank you for your continued support. And our opening theme is One Up by Professor Shy Guy. You can find his work over at professorshyguy.bandcamp.com. So with that, we are signing off for this week. And as always, have fun, happy gaming, and enjoy your pie cake, which I did make the other day. I finally got back to making a pie cake, and it was great. So, take care, everyone.